floor. We have quorum.
Motion open.
Second.
Alright. We are open.
So
Alright. So, first up, as we do with every meeting, come on in. Public forum. So any non-senators present, you have up to 5 minutes each to talk to the Senate about whatever you'd like. Also, if you don't have anything to say, can you please just identify yourself and perhaps any clubs you are representing. Start over there on the left, Mr. Dillon.
Hi, I'm Dylan, and this is Alex. We're here representing CAMP, the Climbing the Mountain Dairy Club. I believe on the table for today is a budget increase request of $500. The reason why we're asking for the money is for our spring outdoor climbing trip. Normally, we only budget for 15 people, but this year the interest form has already garnered 26 individuals. And in the past, we've tried taking as many people as we could, but when we had to exclude people, it was tough deciding between people who had never gone before because you want to introduce them to climbing, as well as people who go regularly and love climbing. And cutting 10 people out this year would be really hard. So we're just trying to open the door for more people and different types of people to come on this trip.
Thank you. Alex. Trevor.
I'm Trevor Batchelder, Arts and Music Subcommittee Head. I'm also here representing Students for Magic Society for the Constitution Amendment that's on the document.
Zach.
Hi, I'm Chris. SITTV is going to resume filming SGA meetings, so yay.
Awesome. Get started. We're on. We're good. We're live. Christian, we're good.
Yes.
We're live. All right. Cool.
Jason Gardella, I'm the president of the Computer Science Club, and I'm here to answer any questions you guys have about our additional funding requests.
All right.
Hi, Doc. Hi, I'm Doc. Nice to see you guys.
I'm Shaq.
Big chef.
That's a fact. That was.
All right, so we're moving into my reports. We're in the Senate. Matt's going to talk about the binders. In discussion today, we're going to be discussing April 5th meeting, which is Easter. We're trying to come up to a consensus about when to have that meeting, so we maybe move home. We'll talk about that in discussion. If needed be, we will send out a poll again. I think we're all right here. We could maybe find a time a little quicker that way. And then update kind of from the oversight committee. We have an idea for the alternate docket quiz. I'm going to bring that up in discussion so we can get into it and get some feedback to possibly start for next week. And we're also working on 2 other things that we'll be bringing up at next week's meeting. We want to have a solid proposal on those before we kind of bring it up to you guys. So just know that oversight committee we're going to work. That's it for me. So Matt's up.
Okay, so I got a bunch of stuff. First off, with the binders, we don't have binders again this week. That's because I done messed up. And kind of talked about it. We kind of established that my Friday's class schedule is too hard to get the docket into the print shop on time. So Mark and Jess are going to take over actually managing your binders. But you can still let me know if there's anything you want to see in there. Other than that, so you'll have those again next week, just for clarification. Other than that, I had kind of crazy week as far as president stuff goes. I met with Christy, John Marisi, and Cam last Thursday. So they're here to voice any concerns, and if you have any questions about that, let me know. I met with Joe Brosnan about the Stoop. We had a long conversation about what our 2 organizations do and how they can utilize each other better. And I'm also going to be writing in a response to them to all the negative feedback we have about Ann Coulter. I'll be writing a little thing, whether it be a message from the president of the SGA or just a letter to the editor. But I'll keep you guys in the loop with that. Dame and John was, in my opinion, a success. So well done for Jordan and Emily for working on that. So the Emerging Leaders Retreat went pretty well. We had 50-something attendees. Mark, Jess, and I all presented there. And Matt Dahl. Sorry, Matt. So that went really well. I think everybody got something out of it. And a quick clarification. So for Boken, we granted them $15,000 in additional funding. But there was a miscommunication, I think. We had thought when we granted them that $15,000 that they had been given 12% the SAF, but in fact they had only been given 10%, and they were under the same impression. So the end result is that we have $13,000 more than we thought we did last week.
Because basically they don't need the additional money. So
yeah,
they have what they want, and we don't need to give them.
They thought they had 67,000, they had really at 8,000. So essentially what the end result is that we have 13,000 extra dollars. But Pat will see that in the numbers next week, not this week, because Chrissy has to go back and double check and make sure, but just want to keep you guys in the loop with that. Any questions? Okay.
All right, Vice President?
Yeah, so a couple of things. I just added the new senators to the SGA Senate email listserv, so sorry if you guys didn't get the docket. I'll send it out to you guys right now so you can follow along. That's the first thing. The second thing is that I updated the OrgSync page, so for you guys, on whoever the heads of the committees are, you can utilize OrgSync if you go under each, if you go on the SGA page and you go under people, there's different groups and everyone's added in the appropriate their committee groups. So if you want to send, for example, academic affairs, a message to everyone rather than trying to find all their email addresses, just go on DuckSync, go on the SGA page under people, academic affairs, and then it says send message to group, and everyone can get email spam that way. Whatnot. The second point was I do want to thank Jordan and the speaker committee again, and Emily, and also those who volunteered. So Jen, I know, is in here, and who was the other one? Xavier, you volunteered. Thank you. Sorry about that. But also on a side note, I'm actually a little bit disappointed in the senators. I do want to thank a lot of the Siget brothers and Lacey for actually table sitting and volunteering. I'm kind of a little disappointed because I figured some of you guys would have stepped up more to table sit for only like an hour in Babu. So kind of guys, this is our event, so I just want you to kind of think back and reflect on that. Also, now that I've been reforming the committees like I've been saying for the past couple of weeks. So as of now, Speaker and Tailgate are going to be absolved. However, there is a bit of a constitutionality issue with this. So I will get back with you on the bylaws backing behind it, probably by next week.
Speaker's just standing.
Right. So with Speaker, for example, we would have to make a motion to, I guess, change the bylaws and whatnot. But I'll review that next week, and I'll kind of come up with a follow-up with that. However, I don't believe Tailgate was. So I can absolve Tailgate Committee. However, just a side note, the Senate and myself, we're allowed to create committees any time that we see fit and vote on them. And a side note from that, we have an updated version of the SJ's Constitution of Bylaws that we have to re-upload onto DuckSync and OrgSync. So the ones in your binders, or you would have had in your binders, are not the ones that are up to date, and you will be getting the ones that are up to date by next week. Or a couple weeks from now or whatnot, but we'll get them there. Yeah, what's up?
Are they right now? Let's see them right now.
Where can you find the?
All right, we'll go full disclosure here since you brought it up. The bylaws that are on the website are not the same ones that reflect every change made since they were uploaded. So it's going to be a little bit of a tricky process, but basically we have to kind of review the past year and all the changes. What basically happened is at one point someone didn't have the most up-to-date, and we started updating that. So there's like so here's the bylaws, and then there was this change made. Then there are other changes made, and so this version never reflected this other change that wasn't incorporated. So we're like here, but we need to go back and figure out what other changes were made in the meantime. So it's going to be somewhat of a tricky process, but the cabinet and I are on it, so I have no fears. It's not anything too major. It's a couple of little changes that we made over the past year, including when we made standing committee over the summer, like 2 years ago.
Yeah, because if you look at the current bylaws now, for example, accountability isn't a standing committee, but it is with the edits that we made. So we just need to reflect that back into it. So don't worry, John. And then the last one I have here to talk about is just I'll be working with the oversight committee to ensure those initiatives are carried forward for the semester.
All right.
Alright, so the first two things I have are for the subcommittee heads. I reached out to you all about the day before the Club for Unaccepted Students Day, so the 18th. They want subcommittee heads to come and represent all their organizations in kind of like a mini club fair. So just please let me know if you haven't already whether or not you can come. And there'll be more information coming out in the next coming weeks about more specifically what student life wants to see there. And for those of you who are graduating, please should start thinking about successors and putting together some
Alright, moving to the treasurer's report.
All right, so as Matt was kind of going over, we did some bookkeeping, and the numbers have changed a little bit for Boken. So just to give you guys an idea of what's happening, I'm meeting with Christy this week to hopefully have the final count of paying students, so we can actually get our final SIF number for the semester. But Boken's going to have approximately $82,637.50. That includes the $15,000 additional funding request. Just to give you an idea of their operating budget. Another thing on the docket today, we are not including the link. They actually submitted an additional funding request. Is anybody here on the link, or anybody that kind of does link stuff? No. So there's a little bit of confusion with what they're asking for right now. They put an additional funding request for about $33,000 for the semester, which isn't making too much sense for us. So we'll talk more about that potentially next week, but I'm hoping that that might not even come up. I think we're going to be able to for that without. And the operating budget is back up to about $53,419. So spend some money today, just keep that in mind. Okay. Have fun.
Is that with 15?
50 with
13?
Yeah, 53,000. That's with Boken, everything where we're at.
That's with the
Yeah.
stuff
Yes.
money just got back.
That's what I got. Okay, thank you. Secretary.
So we're trying to get our SGA website page a little more updated. So if you guys as senators could go to your DuckSync, like the DuckSync website when you guys get a chance and go to your profiles, if you just update the About Me to include like a little something about you, your name, major, like what you're involved in, like it'll update automatically on the SGA website page. So it'd be awesome if you guys could do that. Also kind of fun. That's it.
Moving into committee reports, academic affairs.
So we decided to work transitions to the building.
Yeah, no. I didn't know if it was Dawn.
What?
I didn't know if it was supposed to be Matt or you. Okay. I just guessed.
What?
Let Matt do it. Just let Matt do
Matt,
it.
you can do it too. I didn't. I just guessed. Whoever has an update on the academic affairs. Okay, cool. Moving on. Accountability, Jack.
We had our first meeting this week. We're actually meeting again next week, same time, same place, to kind of revamp the accountability form. And a big shout out to Katie, Reba, and Mike for all filling out one of the accountability forms in the past week. So keep it up, Senators.
King's Life, Greg.
Basically, the email I sent out last week is what's going on. Meeting with Res Life tomorrow to talk about all the lounges and all the residence halls. If anyone has any ideas about like the grills and benches and stuff that we're doing around campus, you could email me or whatever. Dean and I kind of figured out a plan. But if you have any other suggestions, the real thing that we need to work on is the whole Bissinger project, because there's unlimited things we can kind of do there. So just think about that, before you fall asleep or something. In the showers. And then from physical plant, the head of physical plant or of the facilities part came up to me and he was like really upset that physical plant hasn't installed the fountains yet, so they're working on that finally now. And then we scheduled for the volleyball court to be redone before April 12th, which we're having an event sponsored with the club volleyball team, so we're gonna have a tournament and stuff like that. So if you want to keep that day open, but that's it.
Yeah, thank you, Greg. Moving on to Constitution and bylaws. It's Jeff.
Yeah, Tyler Rasmus. Okay, on a couple things today, we have the SDS amendment, it's pretty much completely inoffensive. That's fine. Now, the SIE Constitution, the Innovation Entrepreneurship Club, is also on the docket. We found an error, actually a couple of errors that need to be fixed, so we just kind of need to let that fall off the docket this week, so don't bring it up. And for next week, we're going to have an SGDC constitutional amendment and some new bylaw, a new subcommittee bylaw, a couple of bylaw changes because of, well, partially because of what, partially because of what was said earlier about how, the bylaws aren't, quite correct, and we're not quite sure where we are with that, so, we're gonna have to look into that, but other than that, we're good. Sorry, I went on a little too long.
I just trying to understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Cool, very good.
Next week.
All right, public relations, we're going to Julia.
So I met with Matt on Thursday and went over some initiatives, and we're going to have a meeting after this meeting just about them and discuss it.
Cool. Speaker. Give you one last report.
So I think the 3 events yesterday went really well. The Business Expo was really good. Sandra from the Office of Innovation and Entrepreneurship worked really well with getting all those businesses there. I thought it was great. Attendance at the speech and Q&A was lower than we anticipated or expected. I don't know if it was because it was Saturday or people just weren't interested or whatnot, but the people that were there I think had a good time and benefited from it. I also want to thank Xavier, Jennifer, and Ryan for stepping up and helping out with the table sitting. Also want to thank Emily for sticking with the committee and planning right to the end there. So thanks everyone.
All right, and then moving to subcommittee reports, ESC.
We've had a couple successful events going through with some clubs. We had a little incident at the fashion show with the cleaning crew and Al, but we took care of that. Helped P. Nielsen has been taken care of. But yeah, that's it.
Cool. Right next door, professional societies.
Yeah, hopefully you guys got my newsletter last week. Another one will be sent out tomorrow around 12. Pretty much it showcases all the professional societies, events and announcements that are happening each week. Keep you informed. Definitely attend them. They're awesome. Yeah.
Right, thank you, Shaq. Media, Shannon, Ashley. Do you have any announcements? Special interests.
No more.
Club sports, Colin.
So I met with Dean Nelson on Monday, and actually tomorrow we're going to be meeting with Russell Rogers, who is the director of athletics, and John Marizzi for a big powwow on a couple different initiatives, which include transportation for club sports, basically a policy for club sports teams to get authorization for parking passes either on campus or basically just let them know that anybody can park down in that River Street parking garage through the school for a discounted rate of $105 a month. So if you're here for the whole semester, it's only slightly more expensive at $420 versus $300 for a parking pass. And that would be really good for the club sports too, because they could keep their cars on campus only when they needed them, like in season. So that might be only like 1 or 2 months, and then they would save money based off of that. Other initiatives include looking into the possibility of hiring a part-time trainer for club sports athletes, which would be huge. And then there's a couple other just like small details that we're gonna iron out. That's all happening tomorrow. And then on the administrative side, we want to get all of the club sports duck sync pages. Right now, only 7 out of 12 club sports have duck sync pages, and a lot of them are really out of date, as well as constitutions. In the club sport handbook, every club sport is supposed to have a constitution, as well as because they're RSOs. So, gotta talk to Maurice and see if he has those stashed away somewhere, because none of the e-boards seem to know if they have one or not. So, constitution and bylaws, you might see more of that in the future. Those are my initiatives. And it seems like, nobody talked to me about this, but it seems like there's interest for a women's volleyball club sport as well. I saw something about that on a Facebook group. So I might see how serious they are, what they're doing, if they're trying to bust into the scene. That's everything.
Talk to me after about that.
I
Okay.
have a question on your report. The personal trainer, would recreation be hiring that, or
That's all the stuff that we have to talk about tomorrow, which department it would fall under, whose funds, where they would go, what times they would be operating. Because the training room is small right now, and so the talk was that the trainer would be there like during non-peak hours, which would be like when varsity sports don't have practice. So when don't varsity sports have practice? I have no idea. These are all things that we're gonna figure out.
Alright, so awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Colin. Arts and music.
Hello. Our club had their Blueberry Jam on Friday. They had over 100 in attendance, which is their best attendance so far. There's already interest for another one, and they had over 25 acts, and that's one they've had. They hope to continue with that as it's been wildly successful so far. There's lots of interest around that. Off-Center Sketch Show, Ann Coulter is back because she forgot her purse. It's March 6th and 7th in this room at 9 p.m. And they've been having really great attendance, so it would be great to have support from the SGA at that because they've been really thriving with their sketch shows and improv shows. Technique continues to have classes every Wednesday night at 9:30 in Jacoba's Dance Studio. And there are a number of arts and music students involved in the Bonds Opera Night at 8 p.m. in the library atrium on Friday night. Yeah, and that's all I got.
Alright, thank you very much. Recreation.
Cam is here today with their budget, as Noah mentioned, and there's a recreation subcommittee meeting this Thursday at 5 in Jacobus.
Alright, cool. Justin, any repeats from anybody or anything?
Okay.
Alright, cool. We're gonna move to other business. The minutes. Jeff.
Minutes.
February 2nd, 2015. Seconded over here. Alright. Motion to approve these minutes. Next courtesy scroll. Alright, Jeff. All those in favor of moving to the minutes of February 22nd, 2015, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion passes. A little mix-up and items on the table, actually go for new business, so the next thing to entertain would be to clean up anything we used to be working on before we get into new things. So Cam would have to go for new business. Colin.
Motion to approve the CAM additional funding request.
Alright, so we're on the CAM additional funding request, $500. Easy right for you. Colin.
So this is a question for either Matt or Dylan and Alex. Is Marisi okay with this?
So we have a meeting set up, or we're working on setting up a meeting with Marisi either tomorrow or Tuesday. What it sounds like is that we're at a point where he is approving it, we just have to move the date. And
Okay.
so we're just confirming that tomorrow.
Cool.
Cool. Colin again.
Otherwise, sounds great to me. I love seeing more people doing things, getting active.
Jeff.
Were we kind of, I don't want to say, like we didn't want to do, but were we a little bit tenuous about approving it because it's, it's all off campus? I do remember hearing about that.
I think in this instance it's okay, because it means the fun mountaineering club and like Hoboken, it's really tough to find anywhere to climb. There is anywhere. Yeah, anywhere to go up the hill.
Back.
So, motion to move to previous.
All those in favor of moving to previous on this budget, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. All those in favor of granting the Climbing and Mountaineering Club $500, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Passes unanimously. Into new business. Colin.
Motion to approve the FAST additional funding request.
Second.
Fantastic. See right here, we approved $100 for this event 2 weeks ago, and $4,400 for them for the semester for 6 events. This being 7. Jeff.
Okay, we know where this is coming from, because under $400, so it may not come from the next month.
First thing, just clarification on what the event is. This is kind of like one of the previous additional funding requests. It does say that it co-hosts with another school. I think it said Round Club, but the schools that do come and compete help fund the event, so they buy into it kind of thing. And kind of like the response here, if it's under 400, they're not required to go through Sodexo, so we can't ask them or tell them or anything like that.
Jeff?
No, all I wasn't asking, I was just like, where are you gonna go to get this food? It doesn't specify, I mean, what restaurant or?
We're gonna be direct reply.
I know they have vendors, like restaurants they use over and over. I can't speak of the names of the exact places, but I know they do their homework, they do shop around and make sure that they have good prices, so.
Alright. Any other questions, comments, concerns, motions? Jeff?
Second.
All those in favor of moving to the previous on the fast budget, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. All those in favor of granting fastest $306 additional funding request, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. Jeff?
I think as a matter of policy, we should, we should look at the motions that are, from clubs that have people present, therefore, let's start with, where's that gonna be,
Computer science club.
yeah, let's go with the motion to approve the computer science club.
Myra second over on the left side of the room. Reba?
I think their description is really good for this event, and as their first event, Tap Pizza there to get more people out, and just, it's a cool idea to teach kids how to use it, right? Yeah, so I don't see anything wrong with it, move to previous.
Second.
All those in favor of moving to previous on computer science additional funding request, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. All those in favor of granting the computer science club $205, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. Colin?
Motion to approve the ESW additional funding request.
Second.
Okay, we are in ESW $200 for taco truck. They originally were granted $2,700 for 4 events this semester. Jeff?
Okay, I guess if we're not going to, talk about, it's not a lot of money, move to previous. And then, no one else is gonna talk.
All those in favor of moving to previous on the ESW additional funding request, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion fails. Fails due to majority. I heard 3 ayes. Colin?
So, what's the name of this event? It says they're holding a panel to answer their questions, but the event says it's just ESW, on-campus events. Oh, okay, up there, just kidding. I missed a conference call career for, sorry, used to it being right above.
It is supposed to be here. You're
Okay.
right. It's also important. So that's right. Okay,
My bad.
good. Clarity. Reading budgets. Awesome. Any other points, discussion? Let's stay a little longer this time. I will not move to previous since there's already been a motion that failed. Jeff? All those in favor of moving to previous on this budget say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. All those in favor of granting ESW $200, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion passes unanimously. Colin, first up.
Motion to approve the CSA reallocation request.
Second.
Reba.
Again, like, well detailed, well explained, and I think it makes sense for them to buy this as a club and like learn the dances and like learn the cultural aspects so they can put on their own shows instead of having to hire more people in the future, which would in the long run save a lot of money.
Second.
All those in favor of moving to previous on this reallocation request say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay.
Nay.
5 minutes, we'll stay in motion. Sean?
I just have a question, if any of you guys know, because from seeing like the Chinese New Year's things where they have a lion dance costume, the thing is huge. So I'm wondering if we're buying one, if it's going to be, or if we're letting CSA buy one, if it's going to be something where they stuff in the ESC closet, it gets damaged or has to constantly get cleaned, or I don't know.
Direct reply.
They never actually spoke to me about this, and if they had, I'm gonna tell them what I'm gonna tell you. There's no room in my closet. Not going in my closet. That's it.
Yeah, I imagine when you a leak down there, a nice dragon costume. Maybe Jeff, yeah.
Okay, I think if they don't know where they're going to store it, I think maybe they should, come back, they should figure out where they're going to store it and then come back next week. Therefore, motion to table.
Second.
All right, motion has been made and seconded. This requires a simple majority, no discussion. So, all those in favor of tabling this reallocation request, raise your hand. 1, 2, 4, 6, 22. All opposed, please raise your hand. Is that a hand? That's 2. Abstention. Yep. Any opposed?
No, that was for the first one.
Okay. Okay. Any abstentions? That was Reba and myself, so that's 2 as well. 27. That's 26. Maybe the year was on yes. Let's do one more for the yeses. All right. Passes. So that will be tabled. You made up. There was no. Wait. I'm sorry, Jeff. Did you say till next week, or did you just say table?
Until next week.
He said,
What?
he said until next week.
Until next week. So there was a specific timeline on that, so it will be till next week. Sean.
Just a procedural question.
Yes.
Because I know if it gets turned down, they get like a notification, like it was approved, it was rejected. If it's tabled, do they get a notification or some kind of prompt to come and explain what they want to do?
They will. The cabinet will reach out.
Okay.
Thank you for being on our toes.
Okay, motion to approve the SDS Constitution Amendment.
Second. All right. We are in nice PowerPoint-ish, kind of walk you through it. Hope you guys all read it. It would be awesome if everyone did this. Jay and Trevor did. It's pretty awesome. It's like a PDF PowerPoint. It's like a PowerPoint turned into PDF. All right. Any discussion, questions, clarifications, motions? Jeff.
They have a representative, right?
He said he would be able to answer questions.
Yeah, I'm just curious what brought this about, because it seems like this is in response to something.
Which bit?
The bit on amending these amendments, they may not be altered by the executive board in any way.
And it's because I submitted a bylaws amendment about, I guess it was a year ago, regarding our membership clause, and what was presented to the general body was like completely different than what I originally submitted. So yes, it is in direct response to something.
Good catch. All right. AC? No. Couldn't tell me what I had a hand up and I didn't want to put up anyone. All right. Jeffrey.
Move previous. Can I get a second?
All right. No one wants to talk. No one wants to second.
Second.
Thank you.
Yeah, there it is. Nice and loud. Can't hear over everyone else talking. All right. So, all those in favor of moving to the previous on this bylaw amendment, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. It's a constitution amendment. I'll just have to correct myself. All right, so all those in favor of this constitution amendment for the SDS, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Passes unanimously. Yeah. Sean.
Motion to approve the SIE Constitution.
Second.
Okay. Hearing that motion. Jeff.
Okay, as I said during the, bylaws, it's not my committee, but as I said during the committee report, there is an error in this, and it has to go back to the club before we can approve it. So we just kind of need this to drop off the tape, drop off the docket for this week. We're gonna come back with the next week.
Can I motion to table this?
Second.
Okay.
Has been seconded. All those in favor of tabling the SIE Constitution, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Yes.
Does it have to be tabled or sent back to committee? Or does one do the other?
One is not to the other, so those are separate motions. Yes.
I move to to refer the SIE Constitution back to committee.
Second. It has been tabled, so we need to take it off the table.
All right.
Procedurally. Yes, John.
Move to remove the SIE Constitution from the table.
Second. All those in favor of removing from the table, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. That is unanimous. Sean.
I move to refer the SIE Constitution to committee.
Second. That's also immediate vote. I think we're going to discussion on that one. I think we'll have that later. We'll do hands just in case. So all those in favor of sending this Constitution back to committee, please raise your hand. All opposed? All abstentions? So that's 4 abstentions, everyone else is a yes. Checked. Alright, cool. Just to make sure in case there's a 2/3, I want to do due diligence. So we are into discussion. I guess I'll kick it off. So we have a meeting on April 5th. We looked into the Constitution. We know people probably go home for Easter. We do need to meet every week. The classes are in school, so we can't just like say, hey, it's Easter, like we don't want to meet. It's just unfair to clubs. So on April 5th, right now the meeting's at 7, as per normal. At the cabinet meeting, we thought maybe people would go for 8, 9 o'clock if you would want, or the possibility of Monday at 6 or 7. I understand you go to night class and all that. Basically what this boils down to is you guys, including myself, but the Senate, so we can decide when to meet. I threw out the idea of Saturday. We can receive it as well in the cabinet, but it's literally the point is we can choose when to meet that weekend or around that same time. So we can stay with 7, or we move later. What's everyone else thinking? Vicky.
It's just a question. I don't know if anybody would know. Do you know when Greek Easter is?
I'm looking it up right now.
I think it's later. It was the same time last year, so it means it's definitely not the same time this year.
It's not the same time this year. It's like it's the week after. It's the 12th.
I will have the Friday before the 5th off for Good Friday, but no, we will 12 months. So come.
I know me, I'm alright with 7 on Sunday night. I mean, we have classes on Monday, so we have to be back sometime on Sunday anyways. Unless you don't have class on Monday, in which case, you're a lucky bastard.
Just a reminder that the meetings are being filmed.
So, is it a long weekend? Do we not have classes the previous Friday? We do not.
You got it.
Okay.
Yes, Katie.
Yes, I agree. Or Monday.
Just Sunday with night class. Sean.
I know personally if it pushes later, I can't come, but because the APO meeting starts at 8:30.
Do you want to take a poll now? Or do you want me to send out like at least 5 options? Because I'm saying Monday at 6 or Monday at 7. Jeff.
I think it would be best if you sent out an online poll.
Is there any other Amy?
We're gonna see now if people do have classes on Monday at 6.
So raise your hand if you have Monday night class.
That you go to.
Fair amount. Fair amount of sessions. Okay, that's a good idea. That's a very good idea. So guys, bring it back. I just want to know then, are there any other options you'd like to see on that poll besides Sunday at 7, Sunday at 8, Sunday at 9? Please stop talking. We'll be on the poll. Colin.
Is there an option to hold a Thursday night meeting, or is that too early?
Could. So the way it's worded is that the cabinet has to meet every week and the Senate has to meet every week in cabinet meetings. So basically the Senate has to meet every week. But if the cabinet meets on Wednesday, you can technically meet anywhere between the Wednesday and the Wednesday that the cabinet meets. Jeff.
Well, regardless, constitutionally, they have to, like, sometimes I kind of heard this, but they have to send out the docket 3 days before the Senate meeting, or at least I think 3 days. Yeah. So the cabinet would have to meet on Monday, immediately, like the day after the Senate meeting, the day after the previous Senate meeting. I'm not sure that would be very productive.
You can put a little bit of a burden on the cabinet, but I think we can figure it out even, or they can figure it out even if they still met on Wednesday, getting the document out earlier. Yeah, but yes, that's good to keep in mind that the document didn't get out earlier. Genevieve, I saw you next.
You mean it's Monday at 9?
A lot of people have Greek houses that meet on Mondays, or 9:30, but that, I mean, do you want to see a poll on that? Okay, so we could. Lacey.
I think maybe sending out just a doodle with like Wednesday, Thursday, and to 9 meeting slots. Might be the most,
Did you say Friday in there?
no.
Thursday?
Wednesday, Thursday, Sunday, and Monday, with a 6 o'clock slot and a 9 o'clock slot.
Technically, the cabinet meets Wednesdays at 9, so they would not be meeting until Wednesday at 9. So as much as it is, so I guess kind of a whole first mover argument here, but if the cabinet meets Wednesday at 9, and you guys have to meet in between those two, you could meet the following, yes,
Wednesday.
following Wednesday.
Oh.
Sean.
What is the constitutionality of a paper meeting? Okay.
Kevin.
Is Tuesday too late? Like,
Constitutionally, no. But, so that's great. So we'll send out 3 times on Sunday. Right now I'm going to send out 3 times on Sunday, Thursday night, the following Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. Those are the options on the board. Colin.
I was gonna say the same thing about Tuesday.
Okay. Anything else? Amy?
What times will those be at night?
I guess if it looks like a lot of people don't have night class, which I really am not think it's going to be an option, but it can be 6, it can be 7, so it should be one of the two. And I guess if we get them like, oh hey, we people have Thursday night class or something, then I'll just send it out to like people around their 6 o'clock. So be active on your email in the next like 24 hours. Jordan.
Is there like any precedence for this, or do we usually do it on?
We usually just do it on Sunday, and then a lot of people may say we have to like override, and then a lot of people get absences, so we're trying to, since it is the Senate meetings, if you guys would rather meet at a different time.
Yeah, this just came out of convenience for you guys, because you don't necessarily want to come back early on Easter Sundays.
Although I personally follow my Colin's comment that I have to be back for class on Monday, we'll be open to that. My 2 cents. Alright, we're good on that discussion? Okay. What? Jeff?
Motion to close.
Second.
Setting the absence of further discussion, I mentioned in my report, I'd like to bring up another discussion item, so there is further discussion. Very briefly, for the docket quiz possibility, you would do something, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys can clarify maybe. We're talking about doing something online that everyone fills out, so it's the same thing, and it's one short, quick, little easy question. But you'd have to fill it out like before 6:30 or before 6:45, day of Senate meetings. Do that like everyone has to fill it out, not just the first person gets a prize. It's kind of, again, just like a check, make sure we're all doing our due diligence as senators and reading the docket. How does everyone feel? And then keep in mind that there would have to be a bylaw for this to officially have any sort of weight. And also in that bylaw, remember the oversight committee is not proposing any sort of repercussions for not doing it, but just saying like senators must do this. It doesn't say like if they don't auto impeach or something like that. It's just to kind of add a little more to the senator position. Any discussion on that? Any clarity from my committee? Let me just explain. Awesome. They all sit over there. Sean.
I just remember, Jordan, you brought it up a couple, when we started the doc quiz, how it kind of makes it come off as a little kind of a game. And I don't think doing an online quiz before the meeting takes that away. It just makes it less public.
Matt.
I think what Mark was trying to get across, I don't think he necessarily did, was that it kind of takes it from being a game where there's a prize at the end to you have to do this every week, and if you're not, this could come back to bite you when the oversight committee needs to talk about it. So it's less of a game and it's more of making sure you're doing your due diligence as a senator to actually prepare for our Senate meetings.
So, if this docket quiz is just open for a long time, I don't know how you guys are going to implement it. But technically, I'm not saying anybody would do this, but wouldn't they be able to like open it up, look at like the part of the docket that the question's on, and then answer the like question right away? You know what I mean? As opposed to in the past, that nobody knew what the docket question was going to be coming in. So it was like if you knew it, then you knew it. But if you didn't, like you'd have to read the whole docket before you could take the quiz and do well on it. You know what I mean?
Interesting point. My response would be that reading one part of the docket might still be more free.
Better than doing that.
In the case that somebody in this room doesn't actually read the docket. Sarah, do you have a point?
Yeah. Is there something that's prompting this to be necessary, or is this just like something that you're choosing for us to do because I don't see anything
exactly what kind of we're looking for here about whether or not people do feel like we're all well informed when we're coming to these meetings, or if it seems like everyone's reading things off the board for the first time. I was kind of continuing it from when Matt introduced it. I thought it was a good idea because it was like, it seemed as though people weren't reading the docket ahead of time. And then with this docket quiz, people either were, or some people were more. It just kind of seemed like it actually was taking a different direction. That was my, as when I was seeing it, Matt see over there, perspective as center. And as well, I want to continue it, brought it up to the oversight committee. Everyone there was on the same page that they thought it would be beneficial to the Senate to have something like this. But I'd say it's a great point, because if we all don't feel like that way, if we all do feel like we're reading the docket and don't need anything like that, now would be the perfect time to say that, as in like, no, that's a bad idea, let's not do this. Jordan?
No, that's a bad idea, we should not do this.
So two people? Yeah.
But what if we had a, like a, you know, a keeper docket quiz here, or something like that?
We
So
should
it's not
do
public.
Who cares? Just do neither.
Jordan?
Like, in all seriousness though, like, it's not that hard to read the email when it comes out. It takes 5 minutes, and even if you don't read it ahead of time, which you should, if you're paying attention to meetings anyway, you can easily pick up on what the budgets are right when they come up and kind of form your opinion based on what the student body wants. So I really don't think this is necessary. It hasn't been done the last 5 years I've been here. I don't think it should be.
Sabina?
I personally think it's a good idea. I think that not everyone is as well informed as some people that actually do read it ahead of time. And you should know what we're talking about before you come here, because it's just a waste of time for all of us if you don't know what you're talking about when it comes to discussion about certain things. And I mean, if there's no repercussions for not doing it, you don't want to do it, you don't. Like, it doesn't really matter. But like, if you're up for impeachment and people are like, oh yeah, well we don't do the docket quizzes, and like, why not do it if you're reading the docket anyway? Like, that's really not a good look. So I think it just kind of puts in a system of checks and balances that like, oh okay, they actually care and they read the docket, so why not fill out one question about it? Like, it's really not that hard. So just don't do it.
Okay.
I think, like, I just think like these docket, these binders are kind of like micromanagement of the Senate by the cabinet mostly. And I think that like, you're overstepping your bounds by doing this, all of this. So I'm gonna motion to get rid of everything. Is that, can we do that? Like,
There's no motion.
just not do it then.
So binders are a courtesy of printing off things you should already be reading. So we know
Which
we
I'm
manage
pretty
it.
sure we're all reading if we, like, I think if we all are on this SGA, we can like, I think expect all of us to at least have the courtesy to read before we go to the meetings. So, that's just my sense.
Colin, Colin.
So, I'm not going to comment on the docket quizzes right now, but I personally think that the binders are a great thing. The point of the binders isn't so that you read them while you get here or like anything like that. I don't think it's any sort of like infringement on us. I think it's made to help us so that way we can like have paper copies of the docket open, you know what I mean, and just like refer to the bylaws. It's all in one nice sorted out place for us. I like it a lot. I don't know. I've been missing it the past 2 weeks, and I don't know.
Okay, Genevieve?
I mean, I feel the same about the binders. I think they've been a great addition. I don't think it's micromanagement at all. I mean, if you choose not to look at them, then you don't have to look at it, whatever, right? I think, like, even just my experience, I only go in the fall, and I mean, I do it just as much as anyone. People come here distracted. So I think, at least for me, having the binders here, knowing that I don't have to bring anything, allows me to be less distracted, to really take a good look at these things, because people underestimate the power that we do hold as the SGA. So I think the binders have been really great, and same with Colin, I've been missing it the last 2 weeks.
Alright, Amy?
I just was gonna say the same thing, like I don't find really preference between
Sean?
Again, same thing everyone was saying, but with regards to us as senators knowing what's on the docket and what we're voting on, if we don't know what we're looking at and we make comments that are either ignorant of what we're actually supposed to be reading, or we have no, like it's very clear that we have no idea what we're talking about, like we have open meetings and we have guests and we have SITTV filming it. So I think to a degree that's a certain amount of check on making sure that we're not, for lack of a better word, speaking out of our ass.
So as far as the binders go, one, just keep in mind those were for you guys, not like us telling you to do something that was for you guys for your benefit. And two, I know I slipped up the past 2 weeks with not being able to print them because I was doing a million other meetings for SGA, but it was a lot of money out of my budget to put those together. So if you guys could at least give those to the end of the semester to like see if they work out for you guys, I'd really appreciate that on my end. It did come out of my presidential fund, so just keep that in mind.
I will take these comments and feedback back to the oversight. We'll discuss whether or not there is a bylaw proposed next week about it. Jeff.
Yeah, mine's a good. Thank you. Motion closed.
Good? All right. All those in favor of closing the meeting, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Unanimous.
New senators, you gotta let me know what committees you're in, and then.
Oh, grab a
after.
grab a shirt.
Grab a shirt.